In the 1980s, the M44 and M52 self-propelled howitzers purchased by Turkey were no longer usable. Not only were the vehicles deteriorating, but their performance was also gradually falling behind the world's advanced level. However, Turkey, which was not affluent, could not afford to completely replace the equipment in a short period of time. Therefore, they cooperated with Germany to upgrade the equipment. Previously, we introduced the upgraded version of the M44, called the M54T. Today, let's introduce the upgraded version of the M52, called the M52T. The M52 was developed based on the chassis of the M41 light tank. However, its development work began in the late 1940s, when the M41 had not yet been finalized for service. The original M41 had a rear engine and rear drive sprocket configuration. To accommodate a larger turret, the M52 reversed the entire structure, with the engine in the front and the fighting compartment in the rear, and installed a 155mm howitzer in the turret. The upgrading work of the M52T began in the early 1990s. After research, German designers planned to keep the basic structure of the self-propelled howitzer unchanged, but optimize many details. The designers modified the engine mounting seat of the chassis and replaced the engine with a 450 horsepower MTU MB833 AA501 diesel engine, paired with an automatic transmission. The ventilation grille above the engine was redesigned. The running gear had no major changes and still consisted of 6 pairs of torsion bar suspensions with hydraulic shock absorbers installed on the first, second, and fourth pairs of road wheels. Modern components were used for the torsion bars and other parts. Skirts were installed on both sides of the tracks, giving the chassis a resemblance to the M113 armored personnel carrier. The basic structure of the turret remained unchanged. The 105mm howitzer installed on the M52 was no longer sufficient, so it was replaced with a 155mm howitzer with a barrel length of 39 calibers. This gun was equipped with a dual baffle muzzle brake and a more advanced hydraulic recoil system. The gun had an elevation range of 5 degrees to 65 degrees. The original turret of the M52 could rotate 60 degrees to the left and right along the central axis. However, due to the front of the turret being close to the rear wall of the engine compartment, the M52T had some limitations on rotation, with a rotation angle of only 30 degrees to the left and right. The artillery could fire 155mm ammunition produced in Turkey. When firing high-explosive fragmentation shells, the maximum range was 18 kilometers, and when using rocket-assisted projectiles, the maximum range was 30 kilometers. To counter the recoil during firing, the designers added a retractable spade at the rear of the vehicle. The crew consisted of a total of 5 members. The driver was located in the front left of the turret and needed to use specialized observation devices. The gunner was on the right side of the gun, and behind the gunner was the vehicle commander. A self-defense machine gun could be installed on the roof hatch, and there were 2 loaders in the rear of the turret. The overall vehicle armor protection was average. The hull and turret were made of 12.0mm thick welded steel armor, and the bottom of the vehicle had 9.6mm thick steel armor. Several storage boxes were added to both sides of the vehicle, providing some additional protection. The first M52T was completed in 1994 and entered service with the Turkish Army in 1995 after testing. A total of 365 M52 vehicles underwent the upgrade. Although these equipment still couldn't match the latest 155mm self-propelled howitzers, their overall combat capability had multiplied, enough to meet Turkey's military needs. The M52T self-propelled howitzer had a combat weight of 29.5 tons. The vehicle was approximately 9 meters long, with a hull length of about 5.8 meters, a width of 3.15 meters, and a height of 3.32 meters. The crew consisted of 5 people. It had a maximum speed of about 70 kilometers per hour and a maximum range of 700 kilometers. The vehicle could cross a vertical wall up to 0.9 meters high and traverse a trench up to 1.8 meters wide. Its main gun was a 39 caliber 155mm Howitzer with a maximum range of 30 kilometers. The secondary weapon was either a 7.62mm machine gun or a 12.7mm heavy machine gun.